Welcome back. If you've been doing this, let me zip through the review of Act As If. Do you remember them? Test time. Just kidding. All right, here we go. We have Act As If, what? There's an eternity. By the way, if you'll notice, I put an exclamation point. I was going to put it after each one, but just do one big one. These are all so important. Life is an exclamation point. God is an exclamation point, an infinite one, you know. It's serious. It's important. All right, let me go on. Sorry. There's an eternity. If there's an eternity, which I firmly believe in, I mean, why would God make something to end? And there's way too much evidence that there's a God. But anyway, if there's an eternity, why would he... All right, see, I'm talking about it. I can't review. I mean, I got to zip through, sorry. Act as if there's an eternity. That changes your life if you live your whole life in the light of it. All right, sorry. There's a God. There is a God. If you're not sure, go seeking after him. He says, seek me and you shall find me when you search for me with all of your heart. Yeah. There's a God. You love God. If you're going to say you love God, act like it. Do you love God? Act like it. You act like you love your neighbor. Words are cheap. It's truth and deeds is what needs to happen. Act like you are a Christ follower. Obviously, this is for the Christian here, the people who claim to be a Christian. Are you born again? You're born into his family. Be a family member that resembles your father. All right. Prayer is the most important thing, and that's my personal strong belief of activity-wise, time-wise. Prayer is the most important thing. 1 Timothy chapter 2, verse 1. I quote it all the time. You're sitting in heavenly places. This is Ephesians. Woo, big stuff, big stuff. This is chapter 2 and elsewhere. That you actually, this is a real mind boggler, but there's a positional thing. All right, I tried to talk about it last time. I'd love to just go into each one again, but let's keep it going. Okay, and the last one is, as you saw in the description, you're going to die. Well, you know that. Act as if you're going to die. Now, what does that mean? I think you probably already know. What do you want on your epitaph? Who cares? I really don't care what my reputation is in a sense of what people think. I do care 100% of what God thinks, of what my maker. He made me. I answer to him. I don't answer to anyone else. I won't have to. I'm not going to stand in front of someone's judgment. If they're judging you now, don't worry about it. Don't worry about how many people are judging you. They tried to do that with Jesus, and they still do. But act as if you're going to die. Well, death is inevitable. Of course, if Jesus Christ comes back, woohoo! So sin brought death. The Bible says the wages of sin is death. Adam sinned, we all die. And like Ecclesiastes chapter 3, verse 2, nothing really deep here. It says there's a time and purpose for everything. There's a time to be born. And there's a time to, bingo, ta-da, die. There's a time to die. But, oh, death, where is thy sting? Paul in 1 Corinthians chapter 15, 50, probably 6, verse 55, 56, really near the end there. Oh, death, where is thy sting? Oh, I love that. Grave, where's our victory? He's really kind of quoting from Isaiah there. What does it mean? Jesus took the stinger out of the bee. I've heard this before. It's really good. Jesus took the stinger out of the bee so that bee is not such a threat anymore. Lovable, fuzzy little bee. What are you saying, Gordon? Death has lost its power. It's like a porch, an entrance, a gate, and into God's presence. That's good stuff. All right, there's some good things. Paul said, I'd rather die and be with Jesus. It's far better to be with Christ. He said that a couple times. All right, so here it is. Act as if you're going to die. All right, you know where I'm going on that probably. But let's chew on it for a little bit. If I'm going to die, and you don't know when, then I want to make sure my life is valuable, it's accountable, it's worthwhile, it's not vain, it's not in vanity. So everything you do with that thought is that you make it a meaningful life. You do stuff that's glorifying God, you do stuff that honors him, you do stuff that pleases him, and you also do stuff that's worth doing. You don't want to have a huge wasted life. So people live unconsciously. I mean, well, some may be conscious. They live like there's no death, like they're not going to hit a grave. They act like they're going to live forever. People are trying to live like crazy with health, and there's some benefits in that. I'm not saying that's good. Eat healthy and all that. You don't want to eat, drink, and be merry and live your life and partying and all. That's a problem. I think it's really important to keep the fact there that you're headed for that. You can't avoid it. So what are you going to do? I'm going to embrace it. I'm fine with it. If something happens, I don't have to go way down into depression. Like if you get a disease, you're going to die and all that. That's kind of off subject a little bit. I keep branching all sorts. This death thing is a really big thing. It's a big thing in the Bible from cover to cover. In the day that you shall eat this fruit, you shall surely die. So Adam blew it. We blew it. We're headed for death. Might as well get used to it. Get used to looking at it. And then you can face it with joy and confidence. Quick story, I just happened to think of this. My great-grandmother, never met her. She died of double pneumonia. But she faced death in a glorious fashion. She literally, her kids were sick too, my grandmother. And she was in the deathbed, and she knew it. She said, go fetch, my sister. So they ran. They didn't have phones and all that. They ran, got her there, and she said, "Go fetch my sister because I'm about to die on Passover or whatever." She came there. She looked at her. My grandmother was in that room seeing this. By the way, here's the other thing, is they were actually, as from my understanding, they were in beds right there. And she looked at my grandmother and gave her instructions. Imagine your daughter, look at your mom. She says, I'm about to die, sweetie, or whatever. Let me tell you. And she talked to her. She talked to Nancy, we called Nanny. And then we also, Jim, those three. And she told each one of them, gave them instructions on how to live and all that. This is such a noble way of dying. And act as if you're going to die. She knew it was going to happen, and her life was exemplary. It was really beautiful, really a beautiful life. By the way, she had things that she had to deal with. One thing I do remember, she had a hot temper for years until she overcame that, and she couldn't get her mad. Like, I don't know much about her, but wow, the stories I know. So her sister came, and she came into the room, and she came to her, and she said, she looked at her, maybe did more than this, but highlighted, she said, I'll see you up yonder. She was in the country, Appalachia, Tennessee. She pulled her pillow out from her head, laid her head back, and just expired. What a way to retire. Like, wow. But I guess my focus here is kind of like focusing a narrow road. You're going to end in this earth. It's just a temporary thing. But in the meantime, make it good. Like, make every day count, make every minute count, make your relationships count, make your decisions count, prepare to die. I like that. I quote this a lot. Amos 4:12, last part of the verse. He's talking to Israel, but it's applicable to us. And he says, 5 words, the great business of life. Prepare to meet God. No, prepare to meet your God. It's really good. That's the whole point. Prepare in this life to die and meet God so that you cannot be ashamed of him at his coming. That's a quote in the New Testament. So it's urgent that you get your life together now. Prepare for death and act as if you're going to die. Meaning, you're just wanting to die, not necessarily in the same powerful way that my great-grandmother, I hope I do something like that, but it could be instant, it could be just boom, car accident, whatever. So, but if you're going to die, act as if you're ready to die. That's the point. Prepare now. And if not, then if you're a Christian, you're going to rise up being caught up, like Paul said in 1 Thessalonians chapter 4. And then there is no death, and you just avoid it there, like Enoch and Elijah. All right, but anyway, act as if you're going to die. Think about it. Think about death. You don't have to be afraid of it. Hebrews chapter 2 talks about Jesus came to take the fear of death one of the works of the devil, to destroy the devil's works, and who he held them bondage with fear, no fear. At this point, I'm not afraid to die at all. I'm cool. I'm cool with it. It's just a porch. I'm just walking in up a, sidewalk or whatever up through to a porch. I walk right into my house, which is God's house, And I'm picturing my house right here, where I just walk right up through the porch. And so, here, I just happen to see this. I teach a lot of kids, so I have this. So that's right. If you know you're going to die, you need to prepare here and live, embracing the fact that you're going to die, and then it becomes a pleasant thing. It doesn't have to be something you fear. It doesn't have to be something you dread. As a matter of fact, you can actually not want it, but definitely better to be with God in His presence than down here on this corrupt earth, for sure. I guess I could talk more. Act as if you're going to die. You don't act as if you're going to live forever without passing through death. So your life is, I'm becoming redundant. Your life is full of great meaning. And it has, like in that Ecclesiastes passage that I quoted earlier, vanity, vanity, all is vanity, and Solomon's search, and he said the things on this earth, nothing new under the sun. It's just vanity. Is this is vanity, this is vanity. But it isn't vain when you're living for Christ. And there's rewards afterwards for those who really work hard and give a lot and all that. And then he says, the conclusion of the matter is this: fear God and keep His commandments, for we shall all be brought into a judgment, or something to that effect, at the very end of Ecclesiastes chapter 12. So you're going to die. You're dying. You are headed for death. So it's okay. But act responsibly. Love God. Love people. Serve humanity. And then it'll be worth it. Amen? Thanks for listening.